Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Frankly Speaking with Vibhuti Jha, the January 1, 2022 edition. This is the first show of the year, and I want to wish you a very happy 2022. So, Dipak ji, I wanted to start with you first on this matter. That, Omicron being what it is, there is tremendous amount of discussion. I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about only one element of that. And that's what I alluded to in my opening statement, that unless and until we find the real cause, where is it coming from, will we be able to contain the virus? Or is it going to be like common flu, a common Wuhan virus, common COVID-19? Is it going to be like that? Every year we will have to take the shot. Every year we will have to take the booster shot. Is this a new life?
Good morning to everybody. Happy New Year. I first of all wish everybody a healthy, prosperous, and a very happy New Year to each and every one of the viewers and their lovely families and the loved ones. I think Omicron is in the right direction. We have had coronavirus for a long time. The coronavirus had mutated to COVID-19, and we saw the worst of the Wuhan virus last year. Yesterday, New York State reported the highest number of positive cases reported in 24 hours. That was 70,000 cases. 70,000 new cases, the highest number of cases reported in a single day from the beginning, from last year, March, that is 2020 March till yesterday. But Omicron, the beauty is a lot of people are getting infected, but very few people are getting hospitalized. So if you are vaccinated and boosted up, the chances of you to get hospitalized is very minimal. And what is happening pathophysiologically, it is affecting the bronchus, but it is not going down to the alveoli of the lung where the oxygen exchange happens. So you get a lot of scratchy throat and you get extreme fatigue, but you get a super booster natural antibodies against the coronavirus. So this is, I think, God's way and nature's way to spread the disease across the 7 continents in a very strong way, so that everybody gets infected, everybody is boosted up naturally. And I'm not suggesting that anybody should go and get themselves infection. The treatment of choice continues to be vaccines and booster, but it definitely will help us, the coronavirus, to evolve into a way so that more people would have gone through the peak and more countries would go through the peak. So I think the first half of 2022 will be difficult as the virus spreads through numerous new countries, India being the last to get, like Delta did happen. But once the disease spreads, once the virus spreads, most people who are vaccinated and boosted will not need hospitalization. The only word of caution, this virus is dangerous. Unlike the previous virus, Delta, is the high incidence of hospitalization among children between 5 to 12, while the Wuhan virus and the Delta virus had minimal effect on children and very minimal children were hospitalized. We are seeing a huge new height of hospitalization among children who got this new virus. So the virus is affecting children. So children who have other severe diseases like cancer, autoimmune disorders, children who are having other illnesses, and children who have not been vaccinated are prone to get this virus and get hospitalized, unlike Delta or unlike the original COVID-19 Wuhan, which came out of China.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is that value and momentum part of it. There's one element. And the second element is the politics of it all. Because eventually, Mr. Biden, who had thundered during the election that I will drive away this entire Wuhan virus and the vaccines and everything else. But a few days ago, he made a very tragic admission that federal government has no solution to this. So combine the two, the element of the...
Yeah, I will.
Please.
So I think you asked a very good question.
Thank you.
Who benefited most through this crisis? And I will always say there is a silver lining in every cloud, and we always should know how to make lemonade out of lemon. Having said that, I will say it in a frame of biopsychosocial. In a frame of the biologically, before the COVID-19 became an issue, it was President Trump who ordered his task force that I want a vaccine immediately. So because of that, the mRNA technology, which was in the labs, in trying to do gene editing work for oncological treatment, was immediately picked up on, and Moderna took the mRNA technology and came out of nowhere to make the vaccination, which was immediately duplicated by Pfizer. So because of that, one technology, just the mRNA technology, like in Second World War, penicillin was discovered by Fleming in order to treat the soldiers from the infection that they were getting from the wound. This crisis created the mRNA technology, which was a gene editing treatment technology for treatment of oncology disorder and had very minimal role in development of vaccine development. But that technology was then harvested, and we got immunological vaccine development out of it in a super fast way. And Moderna and Pfizer implemented it. Now, post-corona, this technology will play wonders in the treatment of oncological diseases and in the treatment of immunological diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, SLA. So that was the biological aspect. The psychological aspect that one needs to think about, that everybody in the media started talking more about empathy, more about how the EQ is a very important factor, and how an employer treats his employees, how an employer puts himself and be more concerned about the employees, making sure that they're able to take care of their home and their family while providing the best services. So there was a very big psychological dimension communication throughout the globe. And people started becoming more aware of anxiety disorder, become more aware of depression, all-time high treatment for anxiety, depression, acute shortage of mental health workers throughout the globe. That is happened psychologically. Socially, what Mr. Anurag talked about is basically people became more aware. Things like BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement arose. We had more inclusion in terms of thinking about how the life of everybody is at the end of the day equally important. And we found that each and every one knows a loved one who has died from this disease or had suffered extremely because of this disease. And the last thing that I will say, that in spite of all this, medical school applications and nursing school applications recorded all-time high applicants in the year 2021. Following Corona, mothers were willing to send their children, their loved one, to medical school in spite of knowing that medical doctors kept dying from this disease. So we therefore see a new world based on this. So we benefited biologically, we benefited psychologically, and we benefited socially. And his biological benefit definitely went to President Trump. If he did not order his troops that go and get this vaccine done in a record 9 months, the disease came to be noticed in the month of March 2021. By December 15, I had already got my first vaccine. Yeah. So within 9 months, he got an implementation of the vaccine. So this is my total summary of the benefit of this.
No, you are totally right, because this is what we call the law of unintended consequences worked, because you do not know what happens where it happens. If you and I had a debt structure that US government has, no credit company will touch us, right? But United States prints the note and just sings along merrily. There is one thing which is very much in the US favor, and I have been saying this for a very long time, that just to juxtapose the comparison between India and the US is 3 times larger than India, has 1/4 the population, has reasonably great infrastructure in place. It's a very resource-rich country. It's not a one-product company or vagaries of things. It is a guaranteed resources it has. US was during Trump era the energy surplus country, energy self-sufficient country. It was not importing oil anywhere. Yeah. So this country has some very strong intrinsic strength. But do you think we are taking those strengths for granted? Is US economy tripping itself? That's my thought to you.
Okay. I'm an eternal optimist. I'm always.
Yes, so am I. We get along well because we are both optimists. So.
Yeah. And I always love to find diamonds in the coal mine. So having said that, I will say the following things. There is no nation in the world like the United States of America. The best thing the United States of America has is the structure, the rule of law. The judicial system that everybody can trust on. Number 2, the United States has incubator cells where even if God produces one cerebral human being in Somalia, that person is imported to the United States. Any and every person throughout the world, throughout the 300 nations, that God creates the best of the merit, automatically craves to end up in the United States because it provides an incubator where the incubator will be able to produce the Microsoft, the Google, the Yahoos, the Intel of the world that no other nation has been able to create. You name any other economy, they do not have such incubators. They do not. They aspire. Because of that, you have to remember in 2008 what happened. You had Lehman and you had Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs also needed debt. He got $5 billion from Buffett, and the company survived. And the company is doing supremely well. Lehman also was leveraged, but was very overtly leveraged and did not have the cerebral capacity, so it went kaput. But Goldman's flourished, and Rajat Gupta went to jail because he gave that information to Rajaratnam. Hey, we are getting $5 billion tomorrow morning. So getting debt and using the debt properly for growth, accelerated growth, is the crucial issue. What I see currently, that we are talking about it, we are debating about it, and the nation is equally divided about it, that we need one vote to pass the Build Back Better bill in the Senate, is all very good. It just shows that when we do a postmortem of the chaos, we are becoming more and more cognizant that the middle path is the ultimate path, which was described by Lord Buddha 3,000 years back. And it is this middle path that exists in the United States makes it the most cherished nation in the earth. So I come back by saying it is not the amount of gold mines you have in a nation, It is not the amount of minerals you have a nation. It is this rule of law, the academic institutions, and the incubators where every scientist can come from every part of the world and can function at their maximal capacity and be able to win the Nobel Prize. It is only in this nation. So as long as we keep that milieu, as long as we keep that environment, monies, the technology companies which did not exist 20 years back, all these technology companies that we are talking about, Google, all the technology company like Facebook, what a concept, Facebook, social media, went public in 2014. All these companies have created trillions of dollars. It is because of the United States is the only nation who has the wonderful incubator cells where people can come, contribute, and can create trillions of dollars. And this debt can be all managed. We are all talking about what will happen to our great-grandchildren. Trust me, I have a grandkid and I want him to have the best life. But this nation will die if we do not keep those incubators going. Those academic.
That's a very valid point, Dipak. That's a very valid point, and you defined the structure very well. There is a concern I notice as an investor, as a person who is observing things very closely, that this is not the country that I came to. I didn't come to be in this country for this country to turn a socialist country. This is a very important thing. You and I, all three of us, have seen the negative impact of democratic socialism in the garb of democracy in India. It dragged India down dramatically. It's only when India has begun to nationalize Air India that there's a message which is going out elsewhere. And this country is going to, in a different way. Where do you see this match happening, Dipak? What is your take on it?
So I beg to differ. I came to this nation in January 1981. At that time, President Ronald Reagan had just won, and Jimmy Carter, the previous president, was talking socialism in the same way that right now President Biden was talking about. And that was not the only decade that happened. This bringing in communism in this nation was discussed in the 30s. So this has been between the haves and the have-nots, the tale of the two cities, the socialism versus capitalism has been a topic that has been discussed throughout numerous decades in this nation. And yet the nation continues to prosper. In the 80s, New York City was decimated. Nobody could walk in the city. I remember one could not walk, but come the end of 90s, the city again flared up. This is the beauty of this nation. It is a very dynamic society. As long as there are debates, as long as there are protests, as long as there are counter agreements, things will evolve for the best. This is the founders had written the Constitution in such a beautiful way. Do you know what is the beauty? That somebody could cross the border and come to this country and would not go to jail even for one day. But somebody who pushed a girl to prostitution, as was determined yesterday, at age 17, will go to jail for 65 years. Because the laws have a federal system, a state system, electoral system, whereby you vote the judge, whereby the president nominates the judge. It is this combination which makes this nation what was described in the holiest book of the world, the Talmud. The Talmud, which was founded, the oldest scriptures, talked about that there are many shades of gray. And one should be able to differentiate between those shades of gray and have different punishment for each of those shades of gray. So it is only the United States who have been able to build a legal system which is just not plain black and white, but is this chaos, it is this smorgasbord that makes this nation so rich, that people have a very hard time comprehending. That why is this lady going to jail for 65 years and we have other people who are breaking so many laws who do not have anything? Because they do not understand the laws were written by the original founders in such a way that we are able to follow the scriptures of Talmud. I will beg to tell you even this, that it is the United States only. We have a federal law system and a state law system. The whole India, for example, do not have any US Attorney's Office. They have only state jurisdictions, state laws. There is no federal law systems where the US Attorney's Office in Bengal is indicting somebody, and because of that indictment, one will go to jail. We do not have that system. And our politicians knowingly did not build it up because they were afraid that if such a system exists, a lot of politicians will end up in jail. It was very carefully picked up that Ambedkar did not pick up that system and import it in India. He was aware of it. So it is because of this reason I have tremendous respect for the rule of law in this nation. And talking about Biden's position changing, the whole world is dynamic. We all live in a dynamic world. Everything moves different. Our thoughts move daily. Our actions, execution plans evolves. Our relationship with our spouses, with our children.
That point is everybody has a right to change his opinion. So that's
right.
Perfectly opinion. Deepak, how do you look at, what do you look forward to in 2022 in 1 minute short? What do you look forward to in 2022?
I look forward in 2022, the virus, Omicron, will make sure we have natural immunity throughout the globe, one, and the disease will come to an end by December of 2022. The economy will continue to prosper. The markets will keep going up because all the interest rate hikes have been already accounted for and has been already accounted. So all these things are good. Happy New Year, and thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, great week ahead, and talk to you again next week.